Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. I'm Siti Wafika and with me is my partner Nur Yasmin Shazwani. Today we are going to present on the topic air pollution and implication for human health in 2016. Now, let's begin with the introduction. Between 2008 and 2016, the European Union successfully reduced acidifying gas emissions. This marked an important step in addressing environmental concerns. However, while this progress is commendable, air pollution still remains a major threat, not only to our environment but also to human health. Now, let's talk about the background of the topic. Environmental pollution includes air, water, and soil contamination. If left unchecked, it can severely impact human life. So, one of the major contributors to this problem is rapid industrialization, which is it has led to increased gas emissions from factories and other economic activities.
So let's move to credibility statement. First one, to identifying the key contributors to air pollution include emissions from manufacturing industry, pollution from household activities, and agriculture practice along with forestry and fishing operations. Secondly, to demonstrate how air pollution can lead to diabetes, PM 2.5 stands out as a significant threat to human health. PM 2.5 also can reduce the body's ability to produce insulin. It also causes inflammation, which increases the risk of developing diabetes. Next one, central idea. In this presentation, we will analyze where air pollution came from in 2016, mainly from farming, factories, and household activities. We will also examine how exposure to PM 2.5 doesn't just harm our lungs, but increase the risk of disease like diabetes. Most importantly, we want to highlight the urgent need to control pollution now before more people get sick in the future.
Now, let's take a look at our first chart. This pie chart is from the Eurostat article titled Air Pollutants Decrease in Emissions in 2016. It highlights the distribution of acidifying gas emissions by sector in the European Union. This chart shows that the relationship between different sectors of the economy and the levels of pollution that they produce, where it is supporting the contention that have several economic activities are leading causes of air pollution in Europe. So, the biggest contributor was the agriculture, forestry, and fishing sector, responsible for 43% of total emissions. This is mainly due to ammonia released from fertilizers and livestock waste. Manufacturing, transport, and other industry also play a big role. Transport, for example, causes pollution through vehicle emissions. These emissions are more difficult to control compared to dust from the industrial sector. Therefore, more sustainable agriculture practices are essential to reduce this pollution. On the other hand, the other economic activities sector had the lowest share, only 6%. This is because they use better pollution controls or have less harmful activities. These gases can lead to serious environmental problems like acid rain and damage to soil and water sources. Therefore, this information helps decide the sectors of the economy which are most responsible for environmental issues related to pollution, like acid rain, soil erosions, and water source acidifications. In conclusion, this chart helps us understand which sectors need stronger environmental policies and cleaner practice, especially agriculture and transport.
Let's move to the next one. This bar chart shows the relationship between PM 2.5 air pollution levels and the relative risk of developing diabetes, along with the percentage of the global population exposed to those pollution levels. Firstly, the red line represents the relative risk of developing diabetes. As PM2.5 levels increase, the risk also increase. The rise is gradual at first, but becomes sharply higher around 60 micrograms per cubic meter. This means that people exposed to air with 60 micrograms of PM2.5 per cubic meter have a much higher chance of developing diabetes compared to those living in cleaner air. Secondly, the grey bars show the percentage of the global population exposed to each range of PM2.5 levels. The chart shows that the highest number of people, more than 15% in some ranges, are exposed to pollution levels between 30 and 70. This is concerning because these levels already fall in the range where health risks start to rise significantly. Thirdly, when we look at the bar on the far left, we see that exposure to low PM2.5 levels, especially below 10, is very low. This bar is short and stable, meaning only a small portion of the population live in areas with clean air. On the other hand, exposure drops again after 80, showing that very high pollution is less common, but still present in some places. In summary, this chart makes it clear that most people are living in unhealthy air conditions, and that the risk of developing diabetes increases as air quality gets worse. This is a strong reminder that air pollution doesn't just affect breathing, it can also lead to serious long-term disease like diabetes. In conclusion, air pollution is not just an environmental issue, it's a health crisis that affects millions of people. To solve this, industry and governments must lead by adopting clean technologies, enforcing strict regulation, and managing waste properly. We also recommend increasing public awareness because everyone has a role in protecting our environment and reducing air pollution. Clean air is not just a benefit, it's a right we all deserve. That's all from us. Thank you.